Check one.
What's going on, YouTubenites? Welcome to Lords of the Long Box. I do believe this is episode 153, just in case anybody is keeping score. We're not, but I want to wish you all a happy new comic book day. We got a lot of good stuff. We're going to talk some comics, some future spec. Manimal's breaking down the entire Hickman X-Men run, and maybe we'll have some spec for you because you know how we do.
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.
Hold on and get some, boys.
Wow, it's been a minute since we used StreamYard. Our man, Darkside Jedi, had some parental duties that he had to take care of, so we're going old school StreamYard. I remember we used to say old school. We're using like freaking Google Hangout back in the dark ages. Who remembers Google Hangout? But first of all, I'd like to say what's up to my cohorts, my man, Nemesis Prime. Say what's up.
What's going on, everybody? If you're here on the East Coast, it is freezing, but you know what makes it nice and warm? These Lords of the Long Box hoodies. I love these things.
Yes, they are. And also wearing the Lords of the Long Box red variant hoodie, my man, Otto from the Grotto.
What's up, everybody? Otto is back. He's killed the plague. I fought back. Thank you for all the kind text messages and messages. Everybody checking in on me, make sure I wasn't down with the plague. So I am rocking the red hoodie because it is cold over here in the Northeast.
And our friend Mac and this is it, Milton the Manimal, who didn't get the text message that we're all wearing red Lord shirts today, but he still got the red hat. I wonder who he wants to win in the Super Bowl. What's up, Zach?
So first off, my red hoodie's downstairs, but unlike the East Coast, it's pretty warm here in El Paso, Texas, so I can't wear that hoodie here. But I got my blue Lords, and I went red with the Chiefs right here, you know, for that Super Bowl win coming up.
So do we have any predictions on the Super Bowl?
I'm scared. That's all I really predicted.
I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than people think. I think if the Chiefs can stop the run, they're going to win. I think if the Niners front four can apply pressure without blitzing, the Niners will win. Because if you notice, Titans didn't put any pressure on Mahomes. He was back there dancing a jig the entire fucking time, man. He was literally back there making a sandwich before he threw the ball. The Titans didn't blitz him, didn't do anything. But the problem with the Chiefs, if you blitz them, he can burn you. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. The other thing, I mean, like, I'm feeling pretty confident based on last week's with the stopping the run. We stopped Derrick Henry, the biggest dude out there, pretty much, and shut him down to like 60 some yards. So what I'm more a little worried about is their secondary. They got a good defense. It's going to be a little tough, but we got a lot of weapons, man. So we'll see what happens.
So you guys thought we were talking comic books. We're not. We're going to talk sports. I'm just kidding. Shout out to everybody in the live. I'm telling you, we're going to talk comics and just bullshit. Maybe talk about Conor McGregor shouldering the fuck out of Cowboy Cerrone. You know what? I'm going to knock somebody out with a shoulder one day.
It was a double win for me this weekend, man. We had Conor McGregor winning and the Chiefs winning. It was a good weekend.
Good day for redheaded Irish people.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to everybody in the live chat. Thanks for joining us. This show is sponsored from our friends at KRScomics.com. Go to KRScomics.com. Use the discount code of LOTLB to get 10% off any KRS Comics exclusives. They are going to be at C2E2. They're just starting to post it. They're going to be there with, I think, Black Flag Comics with some exclusives. So check out our friends at KRS Comics. Also, show is sponsored by TheGeekySwagShop.com. Go to GeekySwagShop.com. Use discount code of LOTLB to get 15% off anything but these red Lords of the Long Box, which are only for members of Lords of the Long Box. So there's only 5 in existence. If somebody's wearing one, they're wearing a bootleg. I swear to God. The show is also sponsored by our friend over at Rocket Comics. I do believe I have a graphic for them. There you go. The show is sponsored by Rocket Comics. Go to RocketComics.com. Tell them the Lord sent you, or the 3 men in a box, 3 men in the basement, 2 men in a box too. Fuck it. And you can get 20% off your first pressing. Right there, you can see the pricing, how to get to him, rocketcomics.com, RocketNet, Instagram, Facebook. He's on Friendster, MySpace, everywhere, man. So you get all the goodies right there. He's going to be at where I'm going to be this weekend in Costa Mesa for Cal Comic Con, man. We're going to hit up. Starenko's going to be there. I'm thinking about bringing my X-Men 49 to 50.
How big is that con get?
It's small.
Yeah.
Small, but it's got some really, really big boy books, man. It's the show that dealers go to. And there's a little like dealer swap meet the night before. I'm not going to be going there because it's Vietnamese New Year. So I got to go party down and hand out some money and do some gambling and drinking. So I'm heading up there Sunday morning with the big to-do, hang out with Rocket Comics. He's going to be witnessing, so they're going to be busy. So I'm going to go around, see what kind of trouble I can get myself into. If you want to see some of Rocket Comics' handiwork, look at that, man. He cracked that 8.5, became a 9.6, 6.5 to a 5.0 to a 6.5, 7.5 to an 8.0. I want that Silver Surfer. Who's in the live chat that saw the Fantastic Four 48 9.8?
Oh my God.
Holy cow.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Dude, that's ballsy. We had
A 9.6.
We had a friend who has a Fantastic Four 48 9.6, cracked it, pressed it, and end up with a 9.8. Dude, that's
That was
what
crazy.
like
That
a
wasn't
30
the only one. Wasn't there another one he did?
Yeah, but isn't that like a $30,000 book now?
Yeah,
The
yep.
first Silver Surfer.
It's like a 30,000
bump.
30,000 bump.
Damn,
Oh
that
my
is
God.
crazy. Shout out to everybody in live chat. Wobbles, been a minute since we seen my man Wobbles, man from Beantown, Unknown Comics Guy, Johnny Boy, Lon Espinoza, Pop Swasser, good to see you doing better, my brother. Johnny Boy, Matt Forge, Vernon Johnson, good to see my man Vernon Johnson. I see him on Twitter. Shout out to everybody. Victoria Pagic, shout out to you. Ozzy Jamal. It's been a minute. I hope everybody got their Lords of Longbox 3000 giveaway. I saw some people post it. I do believe there's only one more person who hasn't posted yet. Hopefully they got it already, but everybody received their slabs. And we got one more thing to give away. Hey, Justin, is there a way to give away for people in the live chat with that randomizer?
Not on a live show. Not that I'm aware of. No.
All right. So I will figure something out. Maybe we got a giveaway, but you'll have to leave a comment in this video after it posts. How's that sound? I got some KRS Comics exclusives to hook up everybody with. How do you guys like that? Because sorry, we can't do this. Not unless you guys can think of a good trivia question, like what's Otto's real first name?
There you go.
That's and not a lot of people know that, man, but we're gonna hang it loose for you. I got my man Mikey Sutton hooked me up with a little scoop, and I'm gonna drop that a little bit later once everybody gets in here. I promise you we're just gonna talk comics and future spec and stuff like that, no movie news, but hey man, it happens. People send me stuff and I just roll with it, man. Tomorrow I got a Mikey Sutton exclusive. I'm part of a 3-part scoop jam with Cosmic Wonder and Pete's Basement, so peep that out. I'm gonna drop it tomorrow at 6 p.m. I've been editing it all day today, making it cool graphics and music and shit like that, but let's get right to it, man. I think that's all the announcements out of the way, man. That's been a while since we've done
got
this,
a lot of wheels in this, a lot of cars.
yeah, so make sure you stay tuned later for the first installment with Mutant Exodus with Manimal. So Manimal and I worked on this name for probably about a good hour, man. We were running back. At first, it was just Mutants with Manimal, and then I was like, "Hey, how about Mutant Musings with Manimal?" And then we didn't know if everybody knew what musings meant, so we didn't say that. We went through the whole list. I actually sent him a thing about words that start with the letter X. We just went through like the entire dictionary to see what we could use. But basically, Manimal's going to go through. He's been asked about it, and basically, we just want to give a rundown of what's going on with Hickman's run. And there's a whole bunch of new comics that are coming out. I've been too lazy to read them all. I read like the first 3 issues and I gave up, man, because Hickman is good, but man, he's wordy, very wordy.
Yeah, we'll get into it for sure. We'll break it down.
Yeah. But I want to bring this first one up here since Vietnamese Chinese New Year is right around the corner, and I just found out about this book the other day. This is what we like to call a future spec, and I think in the DC world, they're so far and less between new characters that come out than Marvel does. It's just by numbers, right? Marvel publishes more books than DC does, so you don't see many DC. But I came across this, and I thought this was pretty cool, man. This is the next new Green Lantern. How cool is that? Says his name is Tai Pham, and this is, I guess, is what they call their exact opposite of their Black line, where this is more a kid-friendly line. But I think DC, the people who are DC collectors crave first appearances. I mean, Justin could tell you. Look at Naomi, that book, and so there's not many that come across. But let me see when the date is this. So.
Isn't it considered a YA novel?
It is. Right? It's a YA novel, but it's
the
newest Green Lantern. It's the first Vietnamese American superhero in DC. I'm trying to think if there's been another. No, I mean the only Vietnamese American hero in Marvel is Karma. Remember her and from the New Moon. So what's interesting is this is a graphic novel, so it'd be interesting how it's collected, right? It's not. I don't know if it's going to be hardcover or if it's going to be. So let me just read you what it's about. Basically, it's this kid named Tai Pham who finds out that his grandmother was a Green Lantern and she had a jade ring. So it kind of builds on the what are they called, Otto?
That's a good question. What are we talking?
They're called mythos, Otto. They're
Yes,
called
the
mythos.
mythos. The mythos.
Yes,
the mythos.
the mythos.
Yes, this is
like,
a great idea, though. This is a pretty cool idea, the way they're bringing this into it. I've been reading some of this, and as far as the write-ups and stuff that you've sent us, and it actually sounds very interesting.
So they actually have a couple. I'm looking through some of my issues because I've been seeing them. They got a bunch of stuff coming out, like a YA Batman as young. They've got a YA like Amethyst storyline. There's Barbara Gordon. So they're doing this whole little line, man, where they got a lot of this YA stories coming for these graphic novels here soon.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're all paperback, guys. So if you have seen them, they definitely are in stores. This one actually just came out this week, the Green Lantern one. But in the past, I mean, we've seen a lot. What they've been doing is it's all teenagers. So they've done a lot of the girls. So they've done Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Mara, in a teenage era, Ravens in there, Harley Quinn, and even the guys like, Manimal said, Batman. They've done Superman. They've done the Super Sons. But it's interesting. So Tim, I mean, we're talking about specking, and these are actually almost like they're thick format books. So really.
Here's what I'm thinking. Like, this is like one of those things where the first appearance happened in like a graphic novel, and then people wait for the first appearance of the comic. Because if it's popular, you got to think it's going to be a weekly comic that comes out. I don't know if this is a one shot, correct?
Yeah, they're pretty much like 90 to 100 page books. That's basically what it is. I mean, I know I'm waiting for the Zatanna one that comes out next month. It's called Zatanna and the House of Secrets. So that I'm actually interested in to read. I do have the Harley Quinn called Mad Glass.
I think that's good, man. I think DC kind of went over the edge with their dark stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it really it jumped the shark when we got Batwing, right? I mean, at that point we're just like, all right, enough already. We're seeing Bat Penis on screen. I mean, that's a little bit too far. It's good that they do it for the kids. The Lords love the children, right? You got to do it for the kids. You got to have, you have to have your because for a while it was like the Batman Who Laughs, Metal, Darkness, Deceased, Dead, Re-Dead. Let's get
dark
some
this,
kids.
dark that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's I understand. I mean, and if you look at what Warner Brothers did with Shazam and Aquaman, I mean, arguably more kid-friendly movies, and they fucking did $1 billion. Well, at least Aquaman did $1 billion. Wonder Woman did $1 billion, and Shazam was very fun. I mean, I think. To get those new readers in that want to go pay for movie tickets and buy toys and merchandise, I mean, Marvel has that market for toys. Nobody wants to go and buy themselves a Dr. Fate toy. At least a little kid doesn't. You know what I mean? Like us, we're like, ooh, I want to get me a Silver Age Spectre toy. There's not a kid alive that says I want an action figure from a character that first came out in the 40s. You know what I mean? So
it also is a bit of like a kind of like a litmus test to test these characters out to see if they get popularity. And if they do, like you said, bring them over to the weekly books. So it's kind of a safe move on their part too. It's like, hey, let's try this. Does it hit? Cool, bring them over. If it doesn't hit, well, it didn't really cost us anything.
That's the old Marvel and DC way. I mean, if you remember all the anthology series like DC Comics Presents, Marvel Premiere, it was a way to, or in the 80s, remember the miniseries really blew up. You got a 4-issue miniseries that it popped, like famously the Punisher popped. Boom, he got his own series. Jack of Hearts, not so much.
There you go. West Coast Avengers.
I have the Jack of Hearts miniseries, and it's actually a pretty good story. I will say right there, bring Jack of Hearts back.
We'll go
Hercules,
back.
right? Hercules had one.
Showcase of all books. I mean, that's where you got Green, Hal Jordan, The Flash. There's so many first appearances in that comic.
You think about Marvel brought it back with their Marvel Presents, right? I mean,
Marvel Presents. They always keep trying that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I mean, if you get those Marvel Premiere runs and those other books, I think they're great. The Marvel Premiere run, is tons of first appearances. I think it's a good way. I think that's a good way to create little anthologies. You could do like a 4-issue series. That character's done. Boom, bring the next one in. I remember when the Wolverine Marvel Comics Presents come out. Remember that? It was
Best
Wolverine.
storyline in Marvel Comics Presents for sure. The whole Weapon X storyline.
Yeah, and then they did like Cyclops, and then they did Colossus and some random characters, and then it just went away. I'm glad they brought it back. But here's another book that I think has got a really good chance to be hot because this character's Rogues Galleries always pop. And this is coming out in the near future. I don't have the exact dates because I don't do research, but the Flash 88 is going to debut the first appearance of a new villain named Paradox. He looks pretty badass. So, I mean, the storyline is pretty interesting. Any of you guys want to tell us what the storyline is? Let's see if you guys did any of your homework. Who wants to jump all over this?
Well, it's coming out in February, and the Flash goes and visits a museum of some, it's kind of like the Flash Museum, but
yeah, February 12th is the release date.
Yeah. So they're coming out, and basically there's also the character of the Turtle. And if you guys know the Turtles, he's part of the slow Speed Force. So
Are you kidding me? He's actually called the Turtle.
It's called the Turtle.
Does he look like Mitch McConnell? I mean, what does he look
he's pretty slow and fat and chubby.
Pretty slow.
Yeah.
Slow.
The
No,
slow
yeah,
force. Oh, is that where we're at now? The slow force?
Yeah, man.
Well, no, it's the Still Force.
Still
Still
force. Yeah.
force. Okay, I was gonna say the slow force does not sound good at all.
Yeah.
But you know what? That character looks pretty badass. I will say.
Yeah,
what's-
we had the most recent. We had Flash Rebirth with what's the character that's in this season of Flash?
Blood Parasite guy.
Yeah, so I mean, we're
Bloodborne,
using more characters from the more modern stuff. So I mean, this could show up as a character in a future season. May not.
So here's what's
main
interesting
villain.
is the writer said that this character, the seeds for this character were planted back in the Flash Annual in 2018. That may be another spec book. I don't know what. I mean, this is truly his first appearance. So now it's here. Let me read you a synopsis of it. So
Yeah.
as a hero, Flash helps as many people as he possibly can, but Paradox shows what happens when ordinary people pay the price for superpowered battle royales. What started as a happy life of a family of science turned into a nightmare when the Turtles' attack on Central City rained down from the future. And now the story of the civilians caught in the crossfire will change the Flash's light forever. So we went to super light to super dark, but it sounds pretty interesting. But what's interesting is, so he goes, how it's created by Howard Porter and some other cat, right? Howard Porter and I created and planted the seeds of the Flash's new deadly and powerful villain way back in the Flash Annual in 2018. So that's Joshua Williamson said that in the press release. So I'd be curious to see what that Flash Annual 2018. It's a dollar book, probably just sitting there and minding its own business, not doing anything. So it could be a potential spec on that, man.
Give me a second. I think I might have that book.
Really? Oh, that'd be impressive.
Shit.
But let me tell you something. Art-wise, Howie Porter murders the Flash in this run. He did great versions of Wild West.
Spoilers. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But it just absolutely does it. What I could see is something happening where, a civilian gets caught up, something happens to him as a result of that. He comes back as his character and, wants, revenge against whatever, whoever caused this. I could see that happening or something. But it'd be pretty interesting to see. But, a new villain for Justin's Rogue Gallery for all his Flash.
Yeah.
While Manimal's looking that up, man, let me I got 70 people in there. Thanks for joining us. No major scoops or specs to talk about. That's going to be tomorrow. But I have something for you all who've hung out with us, and I don't have a graphic for it. I probably could have. You know what? Let me see. Did I get a graphic for it? We missed Ryan so much.
It's tough to lead a show and be the producer, isn't it?
It is, man. This is hard, guys. So here we go. This is exclusive from our man Mikey Sutton, man, and this is something that we've talked about for a while. And I know my man King of Golden State is buying these up as much as he can. So the Hulu House of Horror has not been closed. With Hellstrom continuing production, the musical chairs behind scenes hasn't ceased new projects from being developed. Glyph has been on the gossip radar for some time now, and according to Mikey, Nadine Hassan is headed towards Hulu as Marvel TV Studios needs to provide content for the streamer as well as ABC and Freeform. Disney Plus may receive Kevin Feige's blue chip toys from the Marvel IP train, but Hulu is still looking for adult horror and humor titles to unleash. No casting has begun as of yet, still in the earliest stages. No showrunners yet, but the discussions have been started. First appearance of Glyph is Howling Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D. #1. There's a variant for it. We talked about this, I want to say like 6 months ago. The Black Knight.
Absolutely.
The Black Knight had given this as part of a long-term spec. So there you go. It was also reported, when I looked this up, Bleeding Cool had reported, and they said it could be something like the glyph was being, they were using the name for some other things or other. But this is going to, and I'll talk about this as well, because this is kind of major news that dropped over, I think, yesterday. When they came out with the news about MODOK, right? MODOK is finally getting a pretty good cast of comedic actors as well. I meant a man from Ratatouille. I keep on forgetting. It's Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt's going to do the voice, and it got a lot of comedic characters in it. But in that press release, they also named it now Marvel TV Studios is the official name for what used to be Marvel TV, which got folded into Marvel Studios. And there's a senior VP that reports to Kevin Feige. So that is great news. We told you guys Hulu wasn't going totally away. They're going to reshuffle things, and they still want to do the horror stuff. You should know what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. So that's big news. So Glyph is I think an Egyptian character who has ties to like Egyptian supernatural things. So she fits into that kind of supernatural world that they're building. It's going to be spun out of Hellstrom, which is, I got to see a trailer's got to be dropping pretty soon, right? I've been working on it for a while now. There's been shots of that. And should we also talk about the USA agent that popped up?
Ooh,
nice pictures.
I mean, it looks, I don't know, man. Sometimes these photos come out and it's like, I wonder if that's his costume when they try to replace Captain America, and then he ends up leaving that, goes for the more black and red costume of USA agent. You guys talk about that, and let me go to the Lords of Longbox page where I posted the pictures, and I can throw them up real fast.
The picture looked very campy to me, to be honest with you. So I wonder if that is just the the original, how he kind of did. It reminds me of the original Captain America suit from like World War II. I don't know about anybody else what their thoughts are on that, but a little bit too campy for me, but I can definitely see them switching it up.
And he has a gun.
Those photos are always, background, people just taking photos. I mean, they're not doctored up like a normal video. So, I mean, I think when you do see it, it's kind of him being introduced. So yeah, maybe you're right, Otto, with him just being their first, uniform, and throughout the series or that episode, maybe it changes more into what the comic book version looks like.
Let me throw it up there just in case you guys haven't been, because we're a full service channel here. So if you want it,
I feel like you might be right, Tim, too, that it may just be like him starting off, and because as we all know with US Agent, he starts off being good. He's a little bit harsher. He kind of becomes like an anti-hero. At times he's been a bad guy. So maybe this is his first introduction. Look, he's waving. It's almost like they're
pretty comic accurate, except for the color, because I believe in the comics it's black on with the red stripes.
Yeah,
and obviously he has a gun, which you can tell you right there. But I'm going to show you the second picture. Let me download that.
In that picture, they're definitely marching him out as like a press thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to show you what's interesting about the second picture, though.
If that was black, the
second picture actually looks like it is literally Cap's shield. Because I was looking at it, you see the little divots. There's 5 divots around on the white part of that. That's just, if you look at Endgame with Anthony Mackie, you know what? We're live, baby. I can pull it up right now. It looks the exact same. So I wonder if they took the shield from Anthony Mackie, the government being hey, this is government property. Give it up to us. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can find it. And too bad it doesn't allow you to. But I want you guys.
There's another star in there. If you look really close on the inside of the white star, there's almost like another star in there. So
I want you guys to focus on the divots around the on the white part of the shield. Right? Pay attention to that. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to show you on the last scene of Endgame. And what you're going to notice is. Where did I download it to? Hold on. We're live. Let me make sure I have it here. Okay, so what you're going to notice is pretty much the same thing with the divots, which, I don't know why it would be.
Because wasn't it rebuilt? It was rebuilt after.
Quite possibly. I mean, anyway, you guys should look it up. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but that's what I found was interesting. So who knows what it's going to be, but it's kind of interesting. I mean, he ends up like, it sounds like he's going to be a propaganda tool. And then eventually he's going to like, hey, I'm going to team up with you guys and we're going to go fight crime. Because USA Agent is like, Otto said, or Manimal said, he started off as kind of this in between guy, and then he became a good guy, and then he was kind of laughed at in the 90s 80s when he came out. He wrote USA Agent. Who the hell is this guy? You know, but it's going to be coming soon. Speaking of coming soon, did you guys see the Clone Wars trailer?
Hell yeah.
Well, in that case,
God.
oh yeah, that means we're talking Star Wars, baby. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. I saw that Clone Wars trailer. I got the goosebumps, man. That was legit. It really looked good. We got to see Ahsoka in there, Darth Maul. I mean, man, I know you guys have you guys been watching? I know Ryan has been like watching every single piece of Star Wars he can on.
Yeah, I've been watching them too. I've been trying to finish the ones because I had never finished them before. So I've really been going through. I'm almost done with season 6 right now. So this is like perfect timing for me.
Oh, you're right into it. I'm up to Rebels season 4. I'm midway through season 4. So
Rebels, I was hesitant of Rebels at first because I saw it. I was like, it's kind of corny, but then it got really good, man.
Yeah, Rebels got really good.
The scenes with Ahsoka and Anakin. Oh, here, baby. Right.
And my favorite.
And some of the really like I want to say Clone Wars, like in seasons like 4 or 5, where they went really deep, like the Force world, and there was like that brother and sister who were like the embodiments of the Force. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, they were. They turned a bat and like another creature. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was, man. I swear, it's so good, man. I'm so and that's smart that they're coming. It's coming out what, February?
Yeah,
or January 22nd.
February. Yeah, next month.
Yeah, brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so they gave you a little breather in between the Mandalorian. And now they're giving you this. Once that wraps up, we'll get maybe the Falcon Winter Soldier. What if? So, people are like, I'm canceling Disney Plus after the Mandalorian. I'm like, how broke you got to be to cancel something that's only $7 a month?
I'm still watching it. I'm still watching it. Like I go back and I find myself just watching other episodes, and especially the stuff that you put up, especially about spoiler alert about the Darksaber. I use that as my reference points. I went back and watched those a bunch of times just so I'm up on it. Well,
look, this isn't comic book related, but I'm going to tell you a little sleeper show on Disney Plus is can't remember what it's called, but it's about dogs that they're training for the blind people. It's amazing. It's one of the best shows I've ever watched. They're training these.
Is it a documentary or?
Yeah, it's like a weekly show, and it's the training of these dogs for blind people. Like
don't tell me that, man. I'm a grown ass man, but I'll cry watching stuff like that, man.
No, it's not sad. It's not sad. What it is it's intense, man. Like these dogs are treated like if they make one mistake, they're axed from the program.
Really?
Don't tell me they kill them.
No, yeah, they put them to sleep.
Two things that make me tear up at movies is sports and animals. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck if your kids all get slaughtered in front of you, man. But if you hurt an animal, like in John Wick, when I was like, oh hell no, hell no.
No, check it out. I can't remember what it's called, but it's pretty good, man. It's really good.
Nice.
Yeah. You know what else looks good? Since we're just off topic here, is the new Harrison Ford movie about the dog from the old story.
Call the Wild. See, I don't like that. It's all CGI.
Well, damn, you can't be fucking having dogs do stunts and shit. They're gonna end up dying and shit.
Yeah, but look, you can make a Hulk. You can make a better looking dog. Okay.
Well, hopefully it works out better. But it's kind of
cool, show too on Disney Plus. Togo with Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a silly one.
I want to
Dafoe in a family film.
Stop right here. I think Good as Gold just said that he sent 26 books to Rocket Comics.
Oh wow!
I just saw that in a live chat. Shout out to you, Good as Gold.
Did you get them all pressed? Good as Gold.
That's right.
I hope you use a discount.
I'm telling you, you're going to use one discount. That's a lot of books. Holy cow!
There you go. I can highlight comments. Look at that. Oh, I'm glad StreamYard fixed their shit. So now when you put something at the bottom, it moves our windows up. You see that?
Yeah. Right.
You noticed that?
I haven't used it in so long. Shout out to Good as Gold, man. I hope you get.
All right, let us know how it comes out.
Yeah, man. If you get 9/8, hook us up. Send us.
Yeah. There you go.
Lon Espinosa. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Brian Song, an Old Yeller double feature for TiVo. No way. Brian Song made me cry.
Brian Song is horrible.
Gale Sayers and Brian Piccolo, right? Was it Brian Piccolo?
Yeah, Brian Piccolo.
Yeah,
that's a horrible movie, man. You can't watch that movie.
Oh, and Old Yeller. Oh, hell no. Good Lord, man. I'm going to tell you what. Here's a movie for you to make you cry like a motherfucker. Is Hachiko.
No, I hate. Yes, that's the worst movie of all time.
Oh my God.
Hachi. It's Hachi.
Yeah, the one with Richard Gere.
Yeah, it's a horrible movie. Don't. No one
No,
watched.
there's a Japanese version too, the original.
Yeah,
but it's based on
horrible.
a true. It's based on. I don't know if it's a true story. There's an actual
It is.
statue in Japan
Yeah.
of that dog, and I don't want to give it to you, but it's heartbreaking what happens to the
Justin,
dog.
can you bring these guys back to comic books?
I'm sorry, man.
I don't know. I'm like a dog movie too.
No, I'm telling you, do not watch Hachi. Do not watch it.
If you want to cry, watch it.
It's ridiculous.
Oh my
You're
god!
ridiculous.
I'm bad
Fuck
on.
you. We're axing
Leave
your
alone, man.
fucking
You ever see
segment,
that movie?
man.
No, it's ridiculously sad. It's not even like enjoyable.
I mean, the ending. I mean, how it ends up getting there is, oh man, that poor dog.
Miserable.
But it shows the loyalty of a dog, right? Hoes ain't loyal, but dogs are. That's what I'm trying to say, man. Let me go to the next one, and this one is really interesting because
Cujo.
why I want to bring this up is, remember a while ago, Kevin Feige is heading up basically all of Marvel Entertainment falls under him, including the comics. And in the past, Marvel Comics have followed the MCU, right? If you think about it. Guardians of the Galaxy, then that team is in the comics. And there's some other things. So in the past, when the movies got popular, I mean, to the point of Tony Stark in the comics became Robert Downey Jr., right? His mannerisms. He was never that joke before. He was an alcoholic. Let's be honest with you, for those who've been reading Iron Man a long time. And they kind of morphed Tony Stark into Robert Downey Jr.'s persona from the movies. So we started looking
smart ass and witty and yeah.
So I started looking into the future at what they're releasing, and it's very interesting what they're doing. There's going to be a new Werewolf by Night series that's coming out, and the reason I pointed out is they're rebooting the Werewolf by Night. So everybody's been getting Marvel Spotlight #2, as you should. But my guess is that when they do Werewolf by Night, they're going to use this new iteration of it, because you just can't have a dude named Jack Russell that turns into a werewolf. That sounds utterly ridiculous. So the reason I have that other picture next to it, because it's co-written by Taboo of the Black Eyed Peas, and that's Taboo cosplaying as Red Wolf. How badass is that?
Damn.
He's that big of a comic book nerd. Well, and luckily he's co-writing it, because a lot of times celebrities who write things, they plot it out, and then a real writer will actually do the screenplay for them. But I think this is something to look out for. They're tying Werewolf by Night into Native American mythos, and it's tying to the Red Wolf, who we all been specking about.
We've been talking about that for a while.
And I think this has a good chance to perhaps maybe go somewhere toward the movies, because some of these Marvel characters from the Bronze and Silver Age, the origins can be a little bit silly, right? So you got to, and that's why for the longest time, Marvel comic or the MCU has pulled from the Ultimates universe, because that was more. When we rebooted for the Ultimates line, they made it more grounded, more reality based, I guess, if you can even say that. Famously, that's where the Galactus cloud came from, was the Ultimate Comics. Remember that?
Yep.
When the Galactus story. I mean, that's, and then of course it came out into the Fantastic Four movie, which is awful, by the way. But you know what? In retrospect, when I looked at that, the Rise of the Silver Surfer wasn't that bad in that movie.
No, Silver Surfer wasn't bad at all. It was
The
just
rest
the
of
whole
it,
Galactus thing.
Trash. Dr. Doom, trash. He's got to have an accent. Give him a British accent, whatever, but he can't be just some rando, man. Both times they did Dr. Doom, awful. Or as man will like to say, it was trash. Trash. Yeah. So Werewolf Mind, look for that. Next future spec book is a few of them. And I'm kind of curious about this book, because we all are on Instagram and on the social medias, on the Lord's Investing Spec group, and people post their comics in there all the time. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't seen many people post this Inhumans #5. Have you?
No.
That's the first appearance of Yelena Belova. Anyway, that's the first appearance of the other Black Widow in the new Black Widow film. The only reason I say that is because there's going to be a new Black Widow series being launched called Black Widow, with a gorgeous cover by Alex Hughes, or excuse me, is that Adam Hughes?
Yep.
And they're also redoing a Red Guardian and Yelena Belova called Widowmakers. And I was curious, I was like, nobody is specking on the first appearance of this other Black Widow who's got a really good chance of reappearing in the MCU. I mean, did anybody go out there and or is anybody being low key about this Inhumans book, or I'm just not noticing it?
I don't ever see it being posted at all.
No,
And
not at all.
Not even on any list that no one wants to give us credit for when books do drop. But oh, I said that out loud.
These top 12 books.
Yeah. Jeez. Oh man, I don't know. No, I don't see
Matt
that.
Forge now tells us he's going to post his on Friday. See, Matt Forge has been sitting on him. He's like, yeah, hey, I've been getting them. But
Yeah,
because everybody's been, and rightfully so, they've been specking Red Guardian and all these major characters. Definitely Taskmaster, but
right.
no love for Yelena Belova. Or I'm the only one that some other people have posted it, but the Iron Maiden, the Marvel fanfare book, the character that's played by Rachel Weisz.
Mm-hmm.
That's another book that, I was like, you know what, why not? Because, I think if the Black Widow movie does well, there's got a good opportunity for a Black Widow franchise, similar to the Captain America franchise, where they kept on bringing back like Falcon, Winter Soldier, Black Widow, etc., etc. Why not for the Widows? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could see that book. I mean, if you can get it cheap, I don't imagine it's ever going to be like a high price book, obviously, but
yeah,
it's a good little flipper, man. If you can do it and you sell it at the right time.
This is one of those things where you go on eBay and if it's $5, buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you find a 9.8 for less than $50, buy it. As we always say, don't fuck with the fates and buy a $10 near middle book. Say, I'm going to get this graded. Next thing you know, you're in the whole $30 and you got a 9.4 because that's the worst. I was going to talk about this, but I think everybody has talked about it ad nauseum, how Patrick Stewart has met with Kevin Feige. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think so either.
I think maybe as a cameo, but it just goes to show you when we don't care much about who is being portrayed as what. Like, we're not Hollywood movie scoopers. I don't give a shit when the production state starts. I don't care what actor is playing whom, but what we do care is the characters that are being used, because as comic book collectors, those are the books that we go out and buy, right? If somebody tells you so-and-so is playing Silver Surfer or Thor or Silver Surfer or Beta Ray Bill, the only thing we see is Beta Ray Bill and Silver Surfer. We don't care about the actor. Now we know that, hey, they're really talking about this. So when Kevin Feige is talking to Patrick Stewart about potentially reprising his role as Professor X, we just think one thing: Illuminati, right?
Yeah. Right.
That's the only thing I'm thinking about. I mean, I think he's too old, and I think John McAvoy is at the great age. He's a great actor, but I think it would be great to get maybe Patrick Stewart one time, and he meets up with James McAvoy in some type of multiverse of madness. Give them the proper passing of the torch. The same thing I want for Wolverine, right? Hugh Jackman's a little too old, but let him be there as Old Man Logan to pass it off to a younger, more rabid Wolverine, if you may say. So,
well, who knows? Could be just throwing us for a loop, man. I mean, Patrick Stewart's a big actor. Maybe they cast him as someone else. I mean, that's not the only bald person out there,
I hate Star Trek, and I say that with every fiber of my being. I don't like it at all.
He's Captain Picard, though. He is Captain Picard.
I hate the Next Generation show. I enjoy the movies. I hate the TV show with a passion. Next Generation, I was okay with it, but it wasn't all that. But the new Picard looks pretty good. I may get down with that on Cody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think it's coming out pretty soon, right?
Yeah, pretty. 6 weeks, I think it'll be out. It'll be ready to go. And
I looked it up, man. He is 79 years old.
70, going to be 80 years old. So that's why I don't really think that Feige is looking for him to move forward with him as Professor X. Maybe like a one movie role or something like that, as you could say. And the same thing with Hugh Jackman. But Feige is a huge Star Trek fan, believe it or not. And he and Patrick Stewart have a good admiration for each other. So you wonder what happened or why this is going to happen. If not, check out, Patrick Stewart on Picard, because I think it's going to be awesome. Yeah. You got 7 of 9 coming back. You've got Data. Yeah. You've got Jonathan Frakes. We could talk about Star Trek if we want for a little bit.
Oh, fuck no, man. I'm sorry. No. When I was growing up, Star Trek was always on like Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. when you're taking a nap or some shit when I was a little kid. And I just couldn't get past the Captain Kirk show with the door that slid, it didn't close all the way, because I was a Star Wars kid. So I had a level of expectation of what, so I'm not that old, so it was reruns of Star Trek. But I remember like, man, Star Wars. Let's check out Star Trek. This is fucking whack, son. I mean, it was. I understand hardcore science fiction fans like it because it's very science based. Where I like my stuff kind of magical. I want the Force all up in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
well, we were talking about how like the age of Patrick Stewart, but could be that they bring him in and he dies early on. I mean. Do you really
pass the torch?
You really even need Professor Xavier with the X-Men anymore? I mean, look at a lot of the modern stories. He was gone for a very, very long time. So he comes in, he dies, it's impactful, and then you have someone else like Cyclops or someone else carrying the torch.
Well, man, that'd be a good segue into your Hickman.
I was going to let him turn into Onslaught. Now we got cooking. Hey, thanks. Just look at Nemesis Prime giving you real-time sales data. I should have put that little thing on the bottom. They have the tracker, right?
Oh, the ticker. Yeah.
And Human 5 CGC 9.8 lasso for 180. So people are going to start dumping them as soon as the movie comes out. So after the movie comes out, wait. She looks pretty hot. She looks pretty hot. She looks like she's able to kick ass. I think it'd be. I'm. You know what? After that last trailer of Black Widow, I was like, you know what? I can get down with this opening weekend.
I think so for sure.
Hell yeah! It's a Marvel movie. Why wouldn't you?
Speaking of women in film, did anybody see the Green Arrow girls and Black Canary from yesterday's Arrow show?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
All
right.
You can
kind of like it was their kind of pilot to the Black Canary show, so it's not bad. I mean, it's interesting. Obviously, if you guys know, after Crisis on Infinite Earth, they completely rebooted all these shows to make them on one Earth, and people didn't remember their memories. Some people did, so it's going to be interesting. What's up?
Who's the team?
It's Mia from the future, Black Canary, and the Laurel from Earth 2. Black Siren, who's also Black Canary. So it's those three, but there's only one more episode, which is next week.
So the next season, it's just going to be relabeled as the Green Arrow and the Canaries with Oliver's daughter taking up the mantle. Hopefully she puts on some weight because I don't know how she's going to kick everybody's ass. Man, 80 pounds.
Well, the girls are great. I mean, both Canaries are awesome.
Yeah. So apparently everything's rebooted. So I've had my fill with CW for now. So I'm done. And I'll wait to see how things shake out next season. But I mean, I've read things about Supergirl, how everything has changed. Like Lex Luthor's back in the fold and everything. It's kind of it was literally like a comic book reboot of the universe, which is sometimes a good thing because definitely Arrow had gone on way too long. It was time to just reboot. The constant what killed me on Arrow was the constant flashbacks, and then I thought it was done, and then it flashed forward for an entire season. I was just, oh my god,
it was kind of bad.
Yeah. So let's talk about X-Men and what I like to call Mutant Exodus with Mutant the Manimal. I made that whack ass graphic for you. If you notice there, you got the House of X logo, you got the Powers of X logo, and you got the X-Men logo, which tells you this is going to be a breakdown of the Jonathan Hickman X-Men storyline up to this point. So if you still haven't read it, you probably won't. So you might as well get your crib notes here from a man, Manimal. This segment is sponsored by I don't know. We'll get you a sponsor, man. Oh, this segment is sponsored by Donnie Cates. Shout out to Donnie Cates.
Okay.
All right. Manimal. So we are going to talk about House of X, Powers of X, and I want you to break it down like this, man. I want you to tell like how the House of X and Powers of X started, the timeline in which it started, and where the characters that, let's just say, I read the first 3 issues and then I kind of stopped after that. So kind of like the build up to it and where they are now, because it's almost like it's in the future, off to the side, and there's new characters involved. So
kind of. So previously on X-Men, the Rosenberg run, which kind of led up. You had the return of Wolverine there, you had the return of Cyclops in there, you also had most of the X-Men in this side universe, the Age of X-Man. So then when we had House of X, Powers of X, or Powers of 10, I'm sorry, kind of showing up,
y'all ain't right, man.
Was this whole idea that the mutants had turned Krakoa into an island that they all lived on, and they basically created these drugs that did different things like prolonged life. One was a super antibiotic, and I can't remember what the third one was, but they're selling these to the world. And basically they've decided, hey, no longer are we going to form our own little asteroid M's, our utopias. We are going to be a part of the world, and we're going to be a power. We are going to get into politics, and this is it. This is what we're doing. We're not going anywhere. And they just said, boom, here we are. So you had a lot of stuff, which I don't really want to get into, with the lives of Moira X, which was basically kind of seeing how things were going to go down. We found out Moira McTaggart is actually a mutant. It's very convoluted. You need to read the story to figure it out. But
yeah, let me ask you about that, because there was everybody started specking on Moira McTaggart. I mean, and in the past, she was a non-powered human, correct? And she was basically Professor X's love interest, and she was a doctor.
Right.
So how has her role changed in the new Hickman universe?
What we find out is that she's actually a mutant, and her power is that she lives a lifetime and then she dies. And when she resurrects in this new life, she has all of her memories from the old life. And so basically she lives 9 lives, and she keeps trying to find the best way to save mutants or to defeat humans or do whatever. And so in some lives, she teams up with Apocalypse in one life, she kills all the Trask family members.
Right.
Boulevard
one life, she avoids Xavier and different stuff like that. So
but she's encountering the same characters of people,
correct.
right?
Yeah, and she tries to do different moves to see if it changes things.
The outcomes, really right?
So the life before now is she finds out like the whole history of when Nimrod's going to show up, and she dies and goes back to where our present day is. Now, what we don't really know is if these lives are actually different alternate realities, or if they are erased completely because she died. So in terms of Hickman, she is very much kept in a bubble right now. No one even knows she's back alive. Only Xavier and Magneto know what she has and what she can do, so they protect her. So no one knows.
Let me ask you this: how old is Xavier in the Hickman world?
Well, so he got a new body recently in the recent Astonishing X-Men run. He took over Phantom X's body. So I don't know.
Is that why he's not in a wheelchair, Manimal? I never figured it.
Oh, hold on, man. Shout out to Comic Sauce 11 for the $9.99 super chat. Hey guys, thank you for all the great info every week. Bless. Huge shout out to Comic Sauce 11, man. Really appreciate the super chat. About 1,000 more of those, and I can quit my job and do this full time. So that is for those who don't listening. So I'm trying to tell you what Xavier looks like now. He's got that giant helmet on constantly, correct?
Yeah, he wears a Cerebro now. Right. So the big thing is they have now created amnesty for all mutants, and everyone's involved on Krakoa. All the villains are welcomed. All mutants are there. They all have a part to play.
Yeah, let me ask you this also. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I haven't read it, so I'm trying to get as much information from you as I can. I read like the first 3, and I had I don't want to talk about how many packages I have, but so in D&D terms, are the X-Men or mutants chaotic good, chaotic evil, or chaotic neutral?
I don't think they're chaotic. They're lawful.
Lawful. See, the man was showing his D&D geek skills right there. Okay.
Yeah.
So they just want they want to be isolationists essentially, right?
No, not anymore. That's
not
the thing.
Anymore.
They are no longer isolationists. They are much more now saying we are part of the world. We're not going anywhere. And they have come out right and said, we are going to wait till we outlast you. We are back. You're the dying species.
Yes.
We'll live with you and we'll be peaceful unless you mess with us. But other than that, we're just waiting for you to die out. And that's literally almost word for word what they're telling them.
So Krakoa in the past, or Genosha,
Krakoa.
This
Krakoa.
is Krakoa.
What's Genosha then? I thought Genosha was
an island.
But that it's an island that was the mutant island or something.
Yeah, Krakoa is a living island.
It's a living island, yeah.
Correct. Okay. Krakoa is a living that originally came from Giant Size X-Men number 1,
yes,
which I think is really, really cool because they kept that island true to where it is. But the island itself, they have a symbiotic relationship with Krakoa, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And who is it? Sinister can only talk to Krakoa.
So Cypher. It's actually Cypher, who a lot of people think is one of the lamest X-Men characters, but honestly, he's probably one of the most powerful because he can speak any language, whether it's not just, we're not talking like languages like the world languages, we're talking computers.
Yeah, electronic computer language, yeah.
Very much. So and there's even been runs.
Isn't that what was the X-Men from the Copper's modern age that was Forge? Wasn't that his mutant
Forge
skill?
is
Like,
there too.
yeah. Isn't Forge like his mutant power, like the ability to like build shit or
Yeah.
No, yeah, something like
Yeah.
that, but
So
not like this.
they create this thing called the Quiet Council, and it's 12 members on the council, and it's kind of who rules over the mutant nation. And so you got a whole assortment. It's divided into like the winter or the seasons. You have autumn, winter, fall, and spring. So you have the main three leaders being Magneto, Xavier, and Apocalypse. Then you have the Hellfire Club, represented by Sebastian Shaw, White Queen, Kitty Pryde, who's the Red Queen. Then you have the X-Men, which are Storm, Jean Grey, and Nightcrawler. And then you have three more. You have Exodus, Sinister, and Mystique. So that's all the Quiet Council. Now, as well as the Quiet Council, you also have 4 captains, which are kind of like their war chiefs. The main war chief being Cyclops. Then you have Magic, you have Gorgon, and I believe Bishop is the last one.
And where is Wolverine in all this right now?
So Wolverine is in X-Force title. It's kind of where he shows up the most. So out of Powers of 10 and House of X, you sprung 6 titles. You had X-Men, X-Force, New Mutants, Marauders, Excalibur, and Fallen Angels.
Yep.
So X-Men is written by Hickman, and it is kind of it's not really a team. The book isn't so much as a team book. It's more kind of what's currently going on with the X-Men, the most important storyline. So then the players kind of jump around a little bit. It doesn't just follow like a straight team like we're used to. X-Force is now obviously kind of the same. It's their special ops team, but it's divided into 2. It's divided into like the attackers and the intelligence. So you have Wolverine, Domino, and Quentin Quire, and then you have Beast, Sage, and like Jean Grey kind of doing the intel portion. New Mutants is also being written by Hickman, and currently the New Mutants are in space. They went up to get Cannonball, who's been with the Shi'ar for a long time, and they're bringing him back. It's kind of narrated from the point of view of Sunspot. It's really good too. I think it's an important read because, like I said, Hickman is writing that as well. He's only writing that in X-Men right now.
So going forward, what are they going to do with all these titles? Are they going to continue on? Are they going to contract, or are they going to expand, or what are they?
I mean, just like everything, I believe some will go away and some won't.
Right.
Marauders, and let me finish talking about these, and we'll kind of get to where you're going with that. Marauders is Kitty Pryde's team, which basically sail around the world, delivering the different drugs that they made, and as well as rescuing mutants and bringing them back. Then you have Excalibur, which is Psylocke, who's no longer Psylocke anymore. She's Captain Britain.
Yep.
She is with Apocalypse and a whole team doing the whole Captain Britain thing and Excalibur stuff. It's very, very strong with Apocalypse and magic and whatnot. Apocalypse is really kind of moving towards this world of magic. And then we have Otto's favorite title, I believe, which is Fallen Angels.
Which I'm really enjoying. Yep.
Which follows Psylocke, but not our original Psylocke. We have the Quanon Revanche Psylocke. So if you remember all your crazy X-Men history, you had Betsy Braddock became Asian, and then you find out that she had jumped in someone else's body. They switched bodies. Well, what we've had now is them splitting. Betsy Braddock is British again, and we have Quanon back in her Asian.
Yeah, isn't the female Captain Britain blonde?
She has like purple hair.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, okay, so that's more like Psylocke than the
That's the original Psylocke. Yes, right. The original Betsy Braddock.
Christ, how the heck?
So I believe Fallen Angels will be ending soon.
Yeah.
You asked me like what titles are going to keep going. Obviously, I think that has to do with sales, of course.
Right. Fallen Angels, I just want to interject, has got a version of Cable in it.
Yeah,
but this is a much younger version of Cable. Cable's like a kid, much younger, not a hardened, war veteran or anything like that. Probably in his 20s.
Well, let me caveat off that actually, because what we're leading to is, I don't want to run past 7:00, and if we have more Manimal, we can do it next week as well, because I think a lot of people are enjoying this. But there's an article on CBR about the what's coming up, the next wave of mutant comics, and to Otto's point, there's going to be a new Cable book by Gary Dugan and Phil Noto. which will debut in March. Instead of the older, more grizzled Cable Marvel fans have known and love, his series will follow the young Cable version of the character who brought Cyclops back to life in Extermination. Cable is currently appearing in Fallen Angels and will be joined in this new series by mutants like Pixie and Armor. Despite his relative youth, he'll still be mentoring these other young mutants as he stirs up trouble around Krakoa.
Yeah, so we have, I mean, in a lot of these X titles, kind of what we're seeing, there's a few titles, Excalibur and Marauders and New Mutants. Well, you're seeing a lot of jumping back and forth with the characters, not so like hard and fast on the teams. So I think you're going to see things stopping and things coming and new stuff. It's all leading up to the end of the year. There's supposed to be a big X-Men event occurring. So some of the other titles are coming out. I'm sorry?
I said end of the year. It's only January.
Yeah, I know. But like the end of the year, they're supposed to do a big X-Men event, I think. And it's supposed to kind of like come from all this stuff.
Yeah. What I was really excited about was actually the relaunch of Giant Size X-Men. Until I read what it's about. It just sounds like, I mean,
it'll be cool. A lot of little one-shots. I'm looking forward for the Jean and Emma Frost one will be interesting. To be honest, we're not seeing much Nightcrawler right now in the X titles.
He should be with Excalibur. That's where he belongs, I think. So let me give you a breakdown of the upcoming Giant Size X-Men. For those who have been collecting for a long time, love the Giant Size X-Men title. Jonathan Hickman has some hot artists that are coming to revive one of the famous X-Men titles of all time, Giant Size X-Men. This series of 5 one-shot specials will each highlight a specific character or set of characters. First up is Jean Grey and Emma Frost will team up to save Storm in a story by Hickman and Russell Dowderman. Then Hickman and Ben Oliver will look at how Magneto serves as Krakoa's ambassador to the rest of the world in a story about the Master of Magnetism. Then the legendary X-Men artist Alan Davis returns for a story with Hickman that sees Nightcrawler venture into unknown territory. So there you go. Perfect segue, Animal, that you were just talking about that.
The one I think I'm looking forward to the most, to be honest with you, is I'm really looking forward to this X-Men Fantastic Four, because I've always found the idea that Franklin Richards being one of the very few Omega level mutants and never really interacting with the X-Men outside of Onslaught and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now they're actually really going into it. In fact, in House of X issue 1, I believe it is, you see Cyclops interact with the Fantastic Four and basically tell them, hey, tell your son he always has a family and a home on Krakoa and he can come be with his people whenever he wants.
I will actually
be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I like that X-Men Fantastic Four. I'll give you guys a breakdown of that. Next month, Chip Zdarsky and illustrators Terry and Rachel Dotson, there you go, are coming in with a hot 4-issue crossover miniseries, X-Men Fantastic Four. The series will focus on Omega-level mutant Franklin Richards as he's torn between his new mutant homeland established by Charles Xavier and his own families. Zdarsky cites the 1980s Claremont miniseries Fantastic Four and X-Men as a major inspiration and notes that this run will have serious long-term repercussions in the Marvel Universe. He also cites the importance of contrast between the family you're born with and the family you'll ultimately saying the series will be addressing Cyclops' invitation to Krakoa to Franklin back in House of X #1. That's your spec book. Go out and find that Claremont miniseries, Fantastic Four and the X-Men. We were just talking about how they used to make all these little 4-issue miniseries in the 80s.
Yeah, they were great.
Next up, you want to touch on Wolverine?
So just some quick ones. The other big ones, obviously, you knew Wolverine was coming back. We got a Wolverine solo that's coming back, which will probably jump around a lot. Benjamin Percy's been doing a really good job writing the X-Force title, I think. So I'm looking forward to that.
Adam Kubert is the artist, too. So
that'll be a good one. One of the ones I'm really excited for is this Hellions, because as you know, I'm a big Havoc fan. So you've got Havoc leading this team of villains, and man, it is a who's who of villains. You got Wild Child, Empath, Scalp Hunter, Harpoon, Nanny, and Orphan Maker. I mean, God, you have to be a big X-Men fan to be Nanny and Orphan Maker.
Well, when when the X-Men, when they were at their height of popularity, I mean, we're talking the comic was hot, the animated series was hot, everything was blowing up. I mean, characters were just coming out left and right. If you're talking like X-Men, I want to say 200 to like 330, right in that area there. Jim Lee started doing a lot of stuff. I mean, it was just blowing up. Then you had the X-Men. They had 2 X-Men titles running concurrently, right? You had Uncanny X-Men, and then you had just X-Men, right? And then they were just blowing up without characters. And then the X-Force came around, and then they had a bunch of characters. Oh yeah, I mean, it's to think that Marvel is going to Marvel Studios is going to pull from this, I think is not going to be that case at all. Hickman is going way deep on this, and I think Kevin Feige is more of a fan of the legacy stuff, Chris Claremont, John Byrne classics that fans are more readily kind of known, you know what I mean? As opposed to, you know, if you throw this at them, man, they're going to be like, what? You know,
this is too far into the X-Men's history when they're like a power, and that's never been a way to start X-Men stories. So
can you imagine the omnibus for this run? It's gonna be like a here's an old reference for you people, and a lot of you will get this. It'll be like a set of encyclopedias. Remember, you get like a set of encyclopedias. Anyway, people used to sell them door to door. By the way, you know.
So one of the final ones also that I think will be extremely eye-opening is the X Factor title. So one of the big things with Hickman's run is he has created these, well, not created, they've already existed, but you have the five, and the five are five mutants who together can resurrect any mutant on the planet. They have this whole resurrection protocol in terms of how mutants get their brains downloaded and how they come back. Jeez. And what you're going to get with X Factor is you basically have this small team of, it looks like it's going to be North Star, Polaris, Prodigy, iBoy, Dakin, and Prestige, who most
I will admit, I don't know who the fuck iBoy is.
He's kind of a newer guy. So
I was going to say, I have no idea who the fuck iBoy is.
They are going to basically kind of be this investigations team trying to find who's still alive, who's not, and where people are, because there's still a lot of mutants on the board that are missing that haven't been resurrected, and people want to know why and where they're at. So they're kind of going to be the investigative branch for the five. And what we'll see is actually breaking down more of that resurrection stuff, which is a pretty big deal.
All right, man. That is there more to go over that you want to do next week? Because, man, that is a lot.
Well, we'll go over the last one real quick because I don't know a ton about it. Is the next title that's supposed to come out is The Children of the Atom, which is
like a famous story already. That came out like, I want to say like 10, 15 years ago, Children of the Atom. Yep. It was a crossover X-Men series.
Yeah, with the they had that recently too. They did it again with the time displaced X-Men. But this looks like it's another generation of young mutants. The tagline is "What if the X-Men had sidekicks?" So I don't know what this one's gonna be like. This is probably the one I'm least looking forward to.
Yes. Let me read a blurb about it. It says possibly the most mysterious Dawn of X expansion is Children of the Atom, featuring an entirely new cast of characters. So the series will answer the question, what if the X-Men had sidekicks? This question is expanded upon by the writer Ayala, who noted her interest in creating this series of Gen Z mutants. Oh, Lord, that's this generation of kids. Teens who had grown up admiring heroes like Storm and Wolverine and sought to follow in their footsteps. Based on the release cover, it seems these young mutants share similar power sets to classic X-Men characters like Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Angel, possibly implying that we'll be seeing the older generation mentor this new team. So that may be a hot book because it just tells you right there in the title that it's going to be featuring all new characters. So boom. I like that, man.
So there's one more that's missing from this, which I find interesting because there's been a lot of talk about a Moira X series that's supposed to be written by Hickman as well.
No, it's funny. That graphic was up and I raised my hand when I had a question, but go ahead, man.
No, that's it. I'm kind of just waiting to hear about that. Moira X is the last title that's been mentioned for the X-Men, and we'll see. Basically, now's the time to jump on the X-Men, and if you want to do it, do so with this hardcover right here. The hardcover of House of X and Powers of X puts them all in line. You can pick it up. It's a great book, and it'll get you started on that Dawn of X.
I will download it immediately.
Or download it.
No, I mean, I like it. Even if you download something, it's better to download the trade because then they're all there as opposed to flipping through because, I mean, I started it and then I was like, man, but it's good to have a nice jumping on point. So, because I think that's what a lot of people got intimidated with. Like, man, this is just going on forever and ever. Everybody's talking about it. There's weird symbols in there. I didn't know I was supposed to read the damn symbols in the back of the comic. I was like, man, I had to go back and like, oh, I was supposed to pay attention to that. So
you got to have your decoder ring.
I know. So thank you all for joining us on our show. Really appreciate it. Just talking comics. I will pop up a video at 6 p.m. tomorrow Pacific. It's going to be part of a Mikey Sutton scoop that I'm doing in collaboration with Pete's Basement and the Cosmic Wonder. They got 500,000 subs on YouTube, so peep that out. I'll pop it tomorrow at 6 p.m. As always, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment after the video post for an opportunity to win some KRS Comics exclusives. So make sure you comment after the video post, like the video, subscribe, like the comment, and we will do a randomizer next week. And the winner will be pulled from the comments section of the video after post, not the live chat, guys. But we appreciate everybody in the live chat. Matt Forge, Thunderhouse Design. Everybody loves a good story, and everybody hanging out with us. Man, any last words?
No, good time. Love talking X-Men. Really enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys here soon.
All right, Otto. Any last words?
All right, no, great show tonight, man. We got the knowledge, the X-Men knowledge, pretty cool. I'm gonna catch up on Fallen Angels and Excalibur. I'm really enjoying those runs. It's good stuff to read. Also, some other things. We 3 Men in the Basement. We got a big show coming up this Friday. We've got a really big guest. I'll let Justin talk about that right now. So we got a little breaking news to what's going to go on this Friday night. So, Justin, who do we have coming on 3 Men in the Basement?
We have my favorite Transformers artist, Livio Ramondelli. If you guys don't know, he created this for me, my logo, as well as tons of other sketches in the past. He's been doing Transformers for quite a long time, different miniseries, been doing interior arts, cover arts. He has his new book, Kill Lockout, so we're going to be talking about that. Really excited to have him on to, just dish with an art, top artist from IDW. So be on the lookout, guys. 9 o'clock Friday night. It's going to be a good time.
Grotto, is there official name for it's no longer a grotto, so
no, it's more like the cell block, I mean, it's like
that.
Cell block auto, cell block O, I'm trying to figure out a name.
I'm gonna go with cell block D.
Cell block D, okay, that's right.
These nuts.
I knew that was coming. That was coming. Or cell block M for Mythos or mutant, whatever. So yeah,
we got to work on that. But I like cell block though.
Yeah, we're gonna work on something. We're gonna get something going on.
I like CBO, cell block auto.
CBO,
yeah. There you go.
There
you go. The lettering sounds better. Or I was gonna CBB for cell block bald. I don't know.
That's right.
We're gonna work on that.
The lights down here, boy.
So
anyway, guys, check us out Friday night. Livio Ramondelli's coming on. Fantastic, really interesting. Right? It's
the Grotto of Solitude.
That's right. Grotto of Solitude. We're gonna come up with a good name that we.
Have you guys ever seen that movie Night School with Kevin Hart?
Yes.
And remember how Fat Joe is in prison when he's in. That's what you look like right now. You look like Fat Joe in prison going to night school. I'm not saying you're fat. You just look like in that.
Well, anyway. Fat Joe lost weight, so that's okay.
There you go.
All right. Awesome, guys. So thanks for watching.
I'm gonna go listen to the new Eminem album, "Music to Get Murdered By," and then we're gonna go from there. So thank you all for joining us. Remember, leave a comment after the video post for a chance to win some KRS Comics variants. We're gonna do a randomizer next week, and tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific, I'm gonna drop a Mikey Sutton exclusive that has ramifications in the MCU, Spider-Man, and something else, which you're gonna have to watch to find out. So as always, boys and girls, keep digging in them long boxes. And maybe we're going to leave you a little something to remember us by. Peace out.
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh, my God.